For all of us Canadians, the living conditions in Canada is getting deteriorated for the past few years. There is no surprise that you're seeing the quality of life is getting downward. The cost of living is also going up, but we're not getting the same level of quality that we were getting a few years back. And the reason is declining productivity. So productivity is basically the measure of how much work we are producing with the amount of resources we have. So how much resources we have in terms of manpower and technology and other resources, and how much output are we producing. Is this efficient or not? If we are taking a lot of resources to produce the same amount of work that we used to do that before, then of course our efficiency is declining. That means our productivity is declining. And this has been very much clear in a lot of studies and research put out by different economists and banks as well, that Canada is lacking the productivity growth for the past decade. Okay, so look at this chart from TD Bank, which shows how our productivity performance has been steeply falling since pandemic. This chart is showing basically 4 decades of data, and we're seeing last decade has been completely ruined because of the pandemic related policies imposed by this government. And when you have the productivity declining, then of course it affects wages. So Fraser Institute did a study comparing the wages between Canadian provinces and the US states, and they normalize it using the US dollar context to measure, how much a median salary stand in Canada compared to the United States. And there is no surprise to see all the Canadian provinces are at the bottom. So a lot of states in the US, they pay much higher wages compared to Canadian counterpart by doing the same amount of work or similar amount of work. And this chart actually proves the point that the productivity for Canadians is declining. So if we are not productive, if we are not efficient, then of course the wages will not be attractive anymore, because we're not being efficient to create more goods and services that would drive up the wages. So the reason why the wages are down and they're going downwards is because we're not being productive. But you would ask, Yasin, GDP is still up, right? We are still growing GDP on a real basis. That's right. That's not how you measure real GDP, especially when you are importing 2 million people in the span of last 2 years. If your population has grown by 2 million people in a country where the total population was 38 million people, and you outgrown the population by 2 million people in the span of 2 years, you must calculate GDP per capita to understand what is the real productivity level. And this chart from RBC came out this morning, giving us a very stark picture when we compare ourselves with the United States. And you can see our level of GDP per capita has been falling off the cliff since 2014. I don't have to tell you what happened in 2014, but since 2014, our performance as a country in terms of producing GDP per capita, real GDP per capita, has been falling off the cliff. And now for the last 6 quarters, we have been in negative GDP, and we are diverting far away from the performance in the US. So US GDP per capita, at least it is moving sideways, but it is still at 10% per capita basis. We are negative. We are almost 4% negative in the real terms when we measure GDP per capita. If you are an investor in the US, in Canada, or in Europe, and you are considering investing into Dubai real estate market, this video is for you, because we have a platform called Stake, which allows you to invest into the residential real estate market and start earning rental income right away without going through a lengthy documentation process or coming up with a heavy down payment. Stake is built upon the concept of crowdfunding. So it is democratizing the entire investment strategy and allows you to own a single unit of the entire investment portfolio. So you don't have to own the entire property, right? You can be part of the pool that can actually own a piece of property, a piece of real estate. So that allows you to start with as low as 2,000 dirhams, and you can slowly ramp up. So as you start investing into it, you can not only own a bit of real estate, but you also get a portion of the rental income on monthly basis. So it's a passive investment strategy, diversifying your portfolio from traditional North American or European markets into Dubai, which is hustling and bustling and growing very fast, and it allows you to build your wealth over time. So don't delay. There is a link down there in the description. If you click on this, it will give you free 200 dirhams in your account right away to start with, and you can thank me later. So what do? I think expecting government to fix everything is not going to help. Okay, so we have to help ourselves in a way that we put our investments in the assets that is going to outperform the debasement of the currency, the lack of productivity, the lack of wages we have. We have to basically outperform all of these headwinds to protect our financial freedom, to protect our investment so that we are not left behind. I have been making a lot of content on what to invest in, where to invest in, because Canada clearly is not giving us opportunity to invest, maximize our returns. Okay, the government will continue doing its job. I don't think this situation is going to get fixed anytime soon, even if we change the government. I'm afraid the conservative will not make a huge difference, even if they come into power. So we have to take our financial future in our own hands. Invest wisely, invest into equities and asset classes that is going to produce cash flow, that is going to produce real wealth, that is working towards the future. The future is AI. The future is blockchain related. So we have to learn about how to invest into the asset classes which is going to outperform these legacy investment vehicles, so we are not left behind, because the government doesn't have a silver bullet to fix all of these things. Okay, so we have to protect ourselves, and I'm building a community to help each other to grow ourselves out of this problem. If you want to be part of the community, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my newsletter. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.